On today's episode of F Around and Find Out, we're going to be talking about Casper Ericson. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he's this Danish guy that got detained by ICE and said to be deported because man has been living in the USA for years without complete paperwork. But the thing with Casper is he had already married an American woman by the name Savannah and now has 4 children. And yes, Casper and his wife Savannah are MAGA. So they quite literally voted for this. They literally thought, yeah, this was going to be a case of them people. You know them people now, them brown ones. They are the ones that are going to be sent back, not him. Because he thought he had the complexion for the protection, right? But he found out the hard way that he didn't, apparently. Not under Trump's regime, he did not. Because apparently, it seems Trump doesn't discriminate. Who would have thought? This case is killing me. So this brother did an excellent job breaking down the entire situation. So let's watch his video.
Well, Casper Ericson came here years ago from Denmark on a student visa. During that time, he met Savannah Ericson. They started dating. At some point, he went back home, then came back here, married Savannah Ericson, and they had 5 kids. 15 years ago, Casper Ericson forgot to finish some paperwork for his legal status here in America.
15 years, guys. He forgot to complete his paperwork for 15 years.
So fast forward 15 years later, he tells his wife, hey, I'm going to make an appointment, go and get this all checked out, make sure I'm all good, and then I'll come back and we'll go on vacation or whatever these people do, right? He goes to his immigration appointment. While he's there, he is detained. He's thrown in a detention center in Louisiana. Savannah Ericson didn't hear from him for 24 to 48 hours. Then she finds out he's detained in this detention center. And oh, did I forget to tell you, they're huge Trump supporters. You go to their Facebook, their Instagram, their X, they bash Democrats all the time. They consider themselves Christian conservative Republicans who support Donald Trump and the Second Amendment, and they bash Kamala Harris and all this, and they are all for Donald Trump's immigration stuff, right? So when I brought you that story, I said, who the hell cares? He is getting exactly what his wife voted for. They stood around, heard Donald Trump saying mass deportations now. They were cheering that shit on, probably sat in their living room with their 5 kids and watched brown people being detained and cheered that on. And now Casper is sitting in a detention center, and I said, and most of you said, who gives a damn? We don't care about them. And even after hearing the story that his wife, who has no job skill, was a stay-at-home mom who homeschooled their kids or whatever, now she's struggling because her husband, who was the breadwinner, is sitting in a detention center. So her friends and family members set up a GoFundMe account for her and all that, and they were all just so upset that this was happening to that family. Every single one of them, once they caught wind of people like myself making videos and saying they're getting what they voted for, who the hell cares? They were all mad. They were like, how can you guys say this? How can you not have empathy for them?
I can't have empathy for someone like this. Like, you are literally getting what you voted for. I am saving my empathy and sympathy for the people who actually deserve it. I'm not going to be, feel sad that you are reaping the fruits of your labor. Who am I, a witch? Like, you wanted this, right? I'm not a bad person. Of course, I'm going to celebrate with you now that you are getting what you wanted.
And we're like, have empathy for them. They voted for this shit. Casper should have freaking turned around and handcuffed himself for the ICE agents because this is what he wanted. This is exactly what he wanted. And then I find out in the comments that many of these people who are friends with them were saying things like, oh, well, this was supposed to be for all the people who don't speak Spanish in our country and they should be gone, but not Casper. So they were being raped while this guy is being detained. Here's the freaking update for you guys. These people were recently interviewed, Casper and Savannah.
And this right here is one reason why I'm not exactly very down with the idea of not having a job as a woman, like the whole stay-at-home mom situation. I mean, I'm not against it. If that's what you want to do personally, I'm all for, like, people doing whatever they want to do. They are free, to make their life choices, whatever you think is best for you. But in as much as I'm going to support your decision on that, I'm always going to still have at the back of my mind, and if you are close to me, I'm going to tell you, like, you should at least have something you are doing, even if you are doing it from home. Should just have something you are doing so you can have some kind of financial security, because, like, nobody knows tomorrow. Anything can happen. What if he, I don't know, gets deported by ICE tomorrow? Then what would you do? Or if you are not living in America and that's not a possibility, right? You are living in a country where both of you are citizens. What if he wakes up tomorrow and he decides that, like, he don't want to do the marriage anymore? Or what if he falls seriously ill tomorrow and can no longer go to work, or he sustains an injury at work, or worse, gets hit by a car and now he's beamed? Now what? You don't have anything to fall down to. You literally now have to start from scratch with all of these kids. That can be very easy. Because you've been away from the field all of these years, you lack a whole lot of work experience, right? Where you think the industry that you may have been in is at, they are like years away from that. And now it's going to be like almost impossible for you to break in. It's just not wise. I don't know. I'm just saying all of this now for people to use as a, I guess, maybe teachable moment.
Both interviewed, right? Again, Casper is sitting still 2 months later in a detention center, waiting to be, processed and deported, right? His wife is at home trying to figure out how to feed their children right now, all because he voted for a man who used his mass deportation stuff to have him detained and now be sitting waiting to be processed and deported. They were asked, do you guys still support Donald Trump? Guess what they said? They do. They still support Donald Trump. They're not happy that Casper's sitting in a detention center, but they still support him. They support his mass deportations because they do believe that people who are brown and speak Spanish should be out of the country.
And they do, because now it's too late to go back. Not only would their ego not let them, when you've gone that far, right? For most people, it's very hard to admit to yourself that you effed up, that you were wrong. So sometimes some people, for their own, I don't know if to say mental health, they feel like they just have to keep going. Because the moment they admit to themselves that they were wrong, the moment they say it from their mouths, the moment they let themselves maybe even think it, subconsciously they might be like, playing with the thoughts of, I made a mistake, but very quickly they will shut it down. Because them admitting to the fact that they made a mistake, they were wrong, is going to break them. It's going to really, set that reality in of, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? And it can send them spiraling into like a dark place, or, do something mentally to them, right? So to protect themselves mentally, they just have to go with it. Like, I don't care, even if this leads me to a pit, even if this leads to my destruction, I don't care. I just have to keep saying that I was right, because they are still trying to make themselves believe that they did the right thing. And they are hoping that someday soon there's going to be some kind of twist, right? Something that would happen that is going to, show maybe the people that are laughing at them saying, oh, we told you so, we told you so, right? They are hoping that something is going to happen soon that is going to, prove that they were the right ones, and they will continue to hold on to this lie until that moment, in hopes that that moment is going to come, in hopes that, no, I'm right, even though this is happening to me right now, even though I'm seeing the negative effects that I'm personally facing as a result of the decision I made, as a result of the ideologies I peddled, right? They are still hoping that somehow there's a mistake, somehow they are right.
You see, Casper passes as an American blonde-haired, blue-eyed white person, right? His wife is blonde-haired and blue-eyed. His kids are all blonde-haired and blue-eyed. They thought this wouldn't happen to them because they're white people who only wanted to see it happen to brown people. So Casper is in a detention center while his wife and children could be starving. And he's like, yeah, I still support the guy. And his wife, who is probably starving, trying to figure out how to feed her 5 children, is also saying, I still support the guy. And people were really asking me, why am I being so just mean-spirited to these people?
Mean-spirited? The mean-spirited ones here were the people who voted for other people to be sent back, deported. Those are the mean-spirited, evil, wicked, terrible human beings we have roaming the planet with us. The ones who voted for that ish. Let's be serious here, please.
Why am I so apathetic to these people? I don't give a damn. I don't care. I absolutely hope they freaking deport his ass. I hope he ends up back in Denmark wondering how he's ever going to see his wife and his 5 children. I hope his wife at some point just has to find a way to sell everything they own just to get herself and their 5 kids to Denmark to be with their dad. I do not care about these people. If this guy gets out of that detention center and gets to come home, he is still a who hates brown people, who wants to see these people being deported. Why the hell would I care about them? I laugh every single time I think about him sitting in a detention center with a bunch of brown people speaking Spanish while he's pissed off that he has to be in there with them. I hope they're treating him like shit.
And isn't it ironic how we see these racist people in America? These people have a problem with brown people who speak Spanish. Isn't Spanish another of their own people's language? Like, I don't get the hate that they have for Spanish. Is it because it's brown people that are speaking it, that's why they have a problem with the language? Because like, these brown people are speaking this language because they got colonized. It's your own people's language still at the end of the day. They act as if Spanish is these people's tribal language. It's crazy. It really is. If it's a white person speaking Spanish, would they have a problem with the Spanish that the white person is speaking?
I hope he's cold as hell every single night before he goes to bed. I don't care. I mean, and I'm telling you guys right now, there are things that I hope on him that I can't even say on this freaking channel. But just understand, I hate these people. These are the worst people in the freaking world. I don't care that their friends are out there crying because, oh, their dad isn't. I don't give a damn. They voted for this. He's getting what he voted for. And they wish the worst for people who are just good people trying to live their lives. They wish the worst for them, so I wish the same for these people. My goodness, the guy is sitting in a freaking detention center and he's still saying, I support Donald Trump. That is what a cult is. That is what white supremacy is. That is what being such a is, that even when you are down, you still think brown people are.
That's why the clip cuts, guys. I wasn't the one who cut it. But the fact that he's from Denmark, right? He got to America and he just went straight MAGA like that. That's crazy. You are not even originally from the country. How did you become this? Or are people from Denmark this far right leaning as well? Is that why it got very easy for him to like easily lash onto it and continue to perpetuate it like that? Like, I don't know, it just crazy to me. So I saw a video of this Danish woman who made a video on the situation, and this was what she had to say.
Let me let you guys in on something about Casper Ericson, the Danish man who was detained by ICE during his immigration interview in the United States. He and his family are not going to be able to come back to Denmark. He can come back. He's a citizen. His children can come back because they're citizens. His wife is not going to be able to come back because she is not going to meet the requirements for the family reunification visa. Not only does it cost like $15,000 in cash that you have to give the Danish government as collateral when you apply for this visa, which it doesn't sound like they have according to people who know them in real life, because he has been detained and she's like a stay-at-home mom who doesn't work and they're already struggling to make ends meet. But even if they had that cash in hand, she doesn't meet the requirements to move here. You have to have educational requirements. You have to have like recent work history requirements. She's been a stay-at-home mom for how many years? I don't know if she's graduated college, but there are also like dozens of other requirements that you have to meet in order to qualify for this visa, and she does not meet those requirements.
So see, even what I was talking about earlier about how, you know, her being at home for that long, not having work experience and all of that, like, is coming to bite her now in the butt further than I thought, right? Because like now she can't even go back to his country with him, because the fact that she's been a stay-at-home mom for that long, she doesn't have work experience. Who would have thought?
And like a lot of people are saying, like Fafo, obviously they were very loud supporters of Donald Trump and these policies, which is insane to me. And he couldn't vote, but it sounds like she voted, and we know who for. It still sucks that the children are going to have to go through this. They shouldn't be punished for the choices and the beliefs of their parents. But I have no idea what they're going to do if he gets deported back to Denmark, because she's not going to be allowed to come here.
Moral lesson of the story: don't be leading a life we hate. Just don't. It don't end well. Just learn from other people's experience. It really don't end well. You know, when people say let love lead, they are not saying that just because they want to talk. They are saying that because, quite frankly, that's what we need in this world. But if you choose to perpetuate hate instead, that's what's going to come knocking at your own door eventually. So put that in mind as you navigate life, I guess. Learn from Casper and Savannah's experience, and, you know, just be better. It don't hurt or cost anything to be a nice, decent human being. Nice, you know, loving, welcoming, caring, a human being, right? So like I don't get why for some people it's just like this one life that they have, they rather live it being so negative and hateful. I really don't get it. But at the end of the day, people are going to decide to do what they want to do. They're going to decide to be whoever they want to be in life.
I have a very interesting update on Casper Ericson, the Danish man who was detained by ICE at his final citizenship interview in the United States. I woke up to a message in my inbox this morning from someone who knows the family personally. They said, "I'm coming as an anonymous source. The man from Mississippi, I know them personally, and they are huge Trump supporters." One of her most recent posts: "All for a country worth fighting for. A country worth dying for. A country worth being detained in a maximum security facility for over 6 weeks for. A country worth paying thousands of dollars in fees to become a part of. A country worth contributing to and creating community in. How blessed we are to live in this beautiful country that so many have lost their lives over. As we anticipate our daddy/husband coming home this week, please pray for the families whose loved ones didn't come home. We are thankful for this great nation because of their bloodshed and sacrifice. Happy Memorial Day." 1. Extremely strange and embarrassing take. But 2, it looks like, I guess Casper's not going to be deported and he gets to stay in the United States, while people of color who do not follow the immigration laws are deported to places like El Salvador. This is truly gross and weird. It's a very strange twist on what is happening. And while I'm glad that, you know, the children won't be separated from their parents, and I'm also glad that they're not going to end up here in Denmark, this should be a huge eye-opener for people, that they were able to get away with this because of who they are. Not because they followed the rules better than anyone else, but because of what they look like.
But that's it for this video. Let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, I'll be catching you in the next one. Bye.